Hey there, you guys. It is Friday, December 22nd, 2023, and you know what we like to do here every single Friday. I like to gather up all the interesting news topics within the video game industry that I think happened within the week and share them all with you. Hopefully you guys find some of this stuff interesting as well. Do me a favor and like this video. If you guys like this video, please consider subscribing, as it does help us out tons. Before we get started, I do want to say that this will be the last Friday that I do this for the year 2023, and we'll pick this up again in 2024. So just keep that in mind when you guys, subscribe or something like that, or expect more of this. Again, I will be taking some time away from this and picking it up again in 2024. Now, without wasting any more time, let's get into our very first news topic, and this is the Insomniac leaks, Insomniac hacks, kind of whatever you want to say or use verbiage-wise. Information from Insomniac that was not for the public has been exposed to the public, and this kind of manifested really weird things on the internet. I think a lot of people taking stances against it, taking stance pro it. In the end of the day, information is out there. Information is to the public now, whether Insomniac likes it, whether Sony likes it, or whether us as fans like it. I am a big fan of Sony. I am a big fan of PlayStation, Insomniac, and I do feel for the people out there, the workers, the people who just go to work every day and want to do their job, when they get all their information out there to the public where it really shouldn't be. I do think that is a terrible thing to see, and I do think there is a lot of insensitivity towards that specific part of this. Some people are saying, oh well, who cares? No one cares about their personal information. We only care about games. That's fine, and yes, majority of us fans only care about talking about Wolverine and talking about Ratchet and Clank, etc. But there are some weirdos out there, and I would hate for me as a developer to put something out there and then a crazy fan, go crazy and track you down or whatever. I remember, last year with the whole God of War Ragnarok not releasing a trailer date, I'm pretty sure a lot of people got a hold of phone numbers of some of the developers and were sending them weird, really weird text messages. Again, invading people's personal space, and I think that's kind of the whole big crux of this issue that I think a lot of people aren't really digesting properly, is the fact that people's personal information has been violated, people's personal space have been violated, things that are private to them, where they have not consented to let that information out there, and that's the problem, right? It has nothing to do with the game trailers, it has nothing to do with the game plans, the roadmap, etc. That stuff, if it was just that stuff, I don't think anyone would have had any necessary issues with this, as that's kind of a company problem, that's a Sony problem, not necessarily the people involved problem. But now they have their information out there, yes, it becomes part of the employees' problems, and it really shouldn't be. With all that being said, there was a lot of interesting information that came out. I'm not going to go line by line about everything that went out, because you can find that in multiple places by this point, and you probably already heard about most of them by this point. Things like Wolverine's pre-alpha footage, which a lot of people have been trashing, which is weird because it's pre-alpha. It's nowhere near a state that's shippable. It's nowhere near a state that Insomniac wants you playing at, so we won't judge that. There's a lot of story spoilers that I haven't looked into. Personally, if I'm being 100% honest, when it comes to leaks like this or hacks or whatever, I typically just stay away. Not necessarily out of I don't want to be spoiled or out of respect to the developer, blah blah blah. Honestly, it's just because I don't really care too much about these leaks too much. I'll get the spark notes, through other means, through other podcasts that'll just say Wolverine's been spoiled, we won't get a Ratchet and Clank game till 2028, stuff like that. Beyond that, I don't really care about the nitty gritty. I don't get into Duffy of it. I don't honestly care about the little minute details of these hacks and these leaks. I know some people really are interested in stuff like that, so if you are very interested in it, I know places like IGN have already posted bullet points of everything in there, and it's very very easy to find online if you guys are really that interested in it. I won't be going over too much of it more here, just the fact that these leaks, these hacks, they happen. I don't have any friends, I don't have anybody that's been affected by this, so it doesn't necessarily affect me as just a consumer of the product. With that being said, I do empathize with the people who have been affected by this, but we all get affected by stuff, right? So hopefully they're doing better. Hopefully they can enjoy their holidays without this burdening them too much. And hopefully Sony and PlayStation really start to crack down on things like these hacks, and just the gaming industry in general need to crack down on people, invading their private spaces, releasing, information to the public that really shouldn't be. Because as we can tell by the public, they do not know how to handle this information prior to the time expected of it, being shown to us by the marketing team, by the developers, etc. Because we react crazy, we fight it, we have a lot of infighting, we have a lot of crazy stuff, which I think, like, come on guys, like, it's just information about video games. I don't understand why people gotta take it to the grave, why people gotta get so angry about it or fight tooth and nail about it. In the end of the day, games are going to be releasing. Insomniac is a development studio that makes games. They will come out to us. I don't necessarily care when or why or how. I just kind of want the game to come out eventually, right? Anyways, those are my kind of final topics on the whole Insomniac matter. Again, just to recap, the roadmap for Insomniac's game plans, things like Ratchet and Clank, things like another Spider-Man or Venom game, etc., have been out there with like rough estimates as to when they'll be releasing. Information on like Sony's like backstage profits and the way they kind of communicate with their teams is out there. Things that I think a lot of people will find interesting. It's just not me personally. This is not my. I don't care. I care about the games. I emphasize with the people who are affected by this. But in the end of the day, I just want the games, man. Moving on to still stay within Sony PlayStation realm. Sony had a big year in 2023. Whether people want to admit that or not. They sold 50 million units within this year. They've outsold the Xbox Series X and S 3-1, which is insane because close to the end of the year, Xbox was like really marking down their prices. I think I saw like an Xbox Series S with 3 months of Game Pass Ultimate, in fact, $125 at Costco or something. That's like insane prices when you compare it next like a $500, $400 PS5 with no games, no nothing, and the PS5 to still be outselling 3-1 the Xbox Series X and S in a year where a lot of people will say is a pretty dry year, except for Spider-Man 2. Really, Sony didn't really have a banger title unless you're like me and you're obsessed with Final Fantasy 16. For the regular people, for most people, it's not like a big name game. They haven't dropped anything too insane this year. Whereas Xbox dropped Starfield and Hi-Fi Rush, and again, we can argue about what an insane year for gaming is, but overall, I think PS5 is trending very, very well in the console space. Now, the developers and the publisher Sony have to make good on the consumers buying into their ecosystem. Now is the time for them to start investing. We don't know a lot about the future of 2024 for PlayStation, and I feel like they're keeping a lot of it really close to their chest, and they just hopefully have some pretty cool information for us in 2024. Hopefully pretty early on, just to kind of quell the unrest that I think is starting to form within the PlayStation community. Moving on to our next news topic, this is regarding Nintendo and the Super Mario Bros. Movie. Now, the Super Mario Bros. Movie was one of the best movies that released last year, profit-wise. It is the best performing animated movie of all time. It is the best movie Illumination has ever, put forward. And with all the success of this, it was pretty eminent that Illumination was going to push for another movie with Nintendo. And a rumor has it that Illumination is actually pushing for a Super Smash Bros. Extended universe, similar to like the MCU or the DCEU. And this is kind of the idea. This is kind of the fever dream that I think a lot of us had when we were kids and we played Super Smash Bros. Back on 64. Back when we played Melee and Brawl. We always kind of imagined, this, game becoming more than just this kind of like fever dream pitch of a thing. At least I did. And when I saw the Super Mario Bros. Movie in theaters this year, it came very clear that I do not want to see a Super Smash Bros. Universe movie, right? Nintendo is obviously pushing for other medias, other games, like for their games, things like TV shows, things like movies, etc. And I think that's really, really cool. And I'm hoping Nintendo keeps them all separated. I don't want them to have to find a way to connect Mario to Link and to Donkey Kong, etc. Not unless it's a way that makes clear sense. Like, obviously, Donkey Kong being in the Mario universe makes sense. We understood this kind of since the beginning and conception of Mario. So I don't want to see them trying to, like, bend over backwards trying to make these games fit into the same universe, because I think that'll take away from their individual products. I think we see MCU struggling hard in this kind of like area where a lot of people are kind of getting this Marvel, burnout. And a lot of it is due to the MCU and all the moving parts that it has within it. With all that being said, I mean, if a movie does come out, I'll definitely see it. But if it is something that's enjoyable, it's going to be another question, I think. We have a pretty clear idea of what 2024 is going to look like for Nintendo, at least for the early half. We have things like, Princess Peach Showtime. We have Thousand Year Door Remake, as well as Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. This is a game that Nintendo has previously said is coming out in summer. It looks like it finally got a rating on the ratings board, so it will be coming out sometime soon, I believe, probably early summer. And that makes sense for a game like this. It's a DS game. It's a game that, I think a lot of people haven't played. So I think releasing it in time for summer makes sense, especially because I don't think it's like their big summer game. It's not something that'll drop mid or end of summer. It's something that'll drop early on summer. So, I mean, hopefully it comes out early summer, and hopefully it is everything that I think a lot of people want it to be. I was a fan of Luigi's Mansion 3, so I'll probably check this out. It kind of just depends on what else is releasing next to it. But yeah, Luigi's Mansion 2 HD finally getting rated. Some pretty good news. South Park Snow Days has finally got a release date, March 26th, 2024. This game looks insane, quirky, weird. Originally when they announced South Park Snow Days, I thought it was going to be like the N64 game where you kind of throw like snowballs at each other. But now that I see it, it looks kind of like a Diablo style card game. I have no idea what's going on in this game. I don't know if it has me interested in it. And it's releasing March 26th, which is a pretty packed time for me. At least a lot of games that I want are releasing in March. So I don't think I will be checking this out, but it is really cool to see that it does have a release date. It is going to be like $39.99, so the price is fitting. So if you guys are interested, or if you guys are a fan of the South Park games, definitely check it out. Really cool news is coming straight from Sabotage Studios. They have announced that Sea of Stars has hit 4 million players worldwide. That is amazing. That is an awesome achievement from an indie game. Now keep in mind, Sea of Stars is available on like the PS Plus subscription, as well as Game Pass and Nintendo Switch. I'd be kind of curious to see where most people played this game, as I was very keen on playing this game on the Switch, but then when I found out it was coming to PlayStation Plus subscription, and I'm already subscribed to PlayStation Plus, that is ultimately where I ended up playing it. With that being said, I can see a lot of people who pick this up on Nintendo Switch, so I'm kind of curious to see where, I guess, like the conversion rate is, where most people play this game. With all that being said, 4 million players for an indie game is amazing. I know the team is very, very excited about this. They're very, very happy, as well as this was one of their huge passion projects. And just to see the amount of love that Sea of Stars received this year is awesome to see. I love to see indie games hitting this kind of high caliber and have this much conversation within the overall gaming space. So here's to, celebrating the 4 million players to Sabotage Studios, as well as all their bright, future successes that they will have in the future. Now let's end this video on a very high note with Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown. This is a game set to release January 19th, 2024 for all platforms, and based off previews, it plays amazing. Based off trailers, I'm very, very interested in it, and I'm happy to say that it has finally gone gold. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown is finally ready to ship, and I'm definitely excited to play it and get my hands on it. With all that being said, you guys, that is going to do it for this video. That is going to do it for 2023's gaming news highlights. I will see you guys next year in 2024. Make sure you guys enjoy your Christmas, enjoy your New Year's. Remember to go out there, play some games, have fun, touch some grass. I'll see you guys on the next video.